Hey everyone, it's Cinnamon. So this week I decided to do a clear of Ulduar on 10-man. I did a mixture of both normal and hard modes this time around, going for a bunch of achievements I didn't previously have. If there's something you're looking for that is not in this video, feel free to ask me about it and I'll get back to you. So first up we have Flame of the Leviathan with 3 towers up. I used 2 demolishers and a bike for this. The second demolisher I placed horizontal to where I'll be starting, and then I went and placed my bike very close to where my first one will be. And the rotation I used for the Pyrite was 2-1-1 until I had 10 stacks. I did alternate a 1 with a 3 every once in a while when he was in melee range, and that's about it. And once he destroys your demolisher, you can deterrence and disengage over to your bike should it be too far away. The only other thing about this fight is it can be very buggy at times, and sometimes he'll destroy your bike and sometimes he won't, and yeah. On to Ignis. This time around I went for the Shattered achievement, where you heat up 2 iron constructs by dragging them through the flames. They will need 10 stacks of the debuff, and once you have both of them up to the appropriate temperature, as you could say, you will want to drag them into the water and kill them simultaneously with one attack. I used Glaive Toss for this. To Razor Scale. This fight is pretty straightforward. I didn't go for any special achievements, so basically you're just doing the fight as normal. You kill the dwarves, there's 2 sets, hit the 2 harpoons, and then you burn her down. And once she is grounded, if you choose to feign death to get aggro off of you, she will reset, so you'll want to just kite her and quickly burn her down. Moving on to XT, this will be on hard mode, so you'll want to use the Glyph of Deterrence for the tantrums. This fight is pretty much just a tank and spank. You'll want to DPS him down until his heart pops out, and you'll want to kill the heart if you want hard mode, of course. And once you kill the heart, you'll want to switch over to the sets of ads which come out. There are 2, they spawn in random corners of the room. Generally you can just shoot the boom bots and it will kill everything, but not always, so do be careful. And for Tantrum, the best way to deflect the damage is to use Deterrence after the first tick of it, and then let it sit throughout the rest of the duration. Going on up to the Iron Council. For this attempt I did the medium mode, as you could say. It's where you kill the big guy, then the little guy, and then the medium one. This fight is extremely easy. Just misdirect everything to your pet and keep it on him as best as you can. And stand in the blue circles for a damage boost. And besides that, there's not much else to it. On to Algalon now. This fight was actually a lot easier than I expected it to be. I got it done on the first attempt, as you can probably tell by the video. For this fight, just assume it's a tank and spank. Other than that, watch out for the collapsing stars. They don't actually hurt you, but they will slowly lose health over time. And should they die, which they do at some point, they will form these black circles which you don't want to stand in. Otherwise it will probably reset the fight. The other thing is the red circles. Just move away from them. When the living constellations spawn, they will pretty much suck to you. All you need to do is feign death and they'll float away. And the Big Bang, you can use deterrence if you want, but it doesn't do enough to even matter. Once it gets down to 20%, a couple of shades of some sort will come from the black holes and attack you, but the boss should be dead by that point, pretty much. Next up we have Kolagharn. For this attempt I went for two different achievements, the first one being avoiding the I-beams, and the second one is to cause 25 rubble to spawn. Now the best way to avoid the I-beams is to first turn on recount, or whatever else you have that shows damage taken, and you'll want to make sure that at no point during the fight you take damage from either no one or whatever else it may show. For some reason it records the I-beam damage as no one, so just keep that in mind. Now the best way to avoid the I-beam is to stand still at all times. The only time you want to move is when the I-beam is actually active. As soon as it disappears you'll want to completely stop moving. No matter what you're trying to do, just stop and let it come back. If you choose to move while it's off, it's very, very likely that you will accidentally run into it, regardless of whether you think you did or not. And to get 25 rubble to spawn, you want to kill 5 arms, which basically means you do not want to attack the boss at all. Going into the observation ring, we have the cat lady. For this attempt I went for the Defender achievement, where you have to kill it 10 times I think, because it's a cat and it has 9 lives, so you want to kill it a whole bunch. It's a very, very long and boring fight, so yeah. If you want to check to see how many times you need to kill it, it has a debuff which tells you how many lives it has left. On to Hodir. This fight is sort of a DPS race, but not really. What you'll need to do for this fight is break the NPCs out of the ice. There's 4 of them, and every minute or so he will spawn a giant blue circle which you need to make sure you avoid, but once the snow falls, you'll want to go on top of the mound and wait until he does his flash freeze. Next is Thorum. Now to correctly do this fight, you're going to want to save an NPC, run over to the lever, kill it, and then quickly hit the lever. This way you have as much time as you can possibly get to do this. After that, you'll want to run into the gauntlet area, and you want a swiftness potion or some kind of engineering boost or whatever you can find, and use that. Go up to the first mini-boss, quickly shoot it, disengage, and then run away from it. All this time you'll want your pet on passive so that way it doesn't keep anything behind. In the meantime, you'll want to run out back to the arena, set some traps down for the NPCs, which will eventually respawn. Then you'll wait for the Colossus to come walking up to you, give him a nice big hug, then run back down and get behind the gate so that way the boss is with you. Then wait for your traps to go off, and then you're going to let the NPCs come over to you. Once all of them are behind the gate, you can then go ahead and kill the mini-boss and all but one of the NPCs from the center. Then make your way through the gauntlet as you normally would, keeping just one of those NPCs alive. You don't want to kill it. I would recommend the captain because it has a lot of health and you can basically AoE everything down besides that one. Now you want to make sure that you do actually kill everything in the gauntlet, that way it doesn't somehow bug out, because this can sometimes not always work. But once you do that, you want to drag the last NPC you have over, make sure your pet is dismissed before you decide to jump down, and kill off the last one you have. And then at this point, you'll want to listen to what Thorum has to say, and then just place your cursor over him, and wait until the sword pops up to attack, and then go ahead and shoot him. As soon as you shoot him, quickly make your way down to the floor area, make sure you get your pet back out, and you can then continue the fight as normal. The fight itself is nothing more than a take and spank. Just avoid the lines of lightning and the blizzards. Moving on to Freya, there's not a whole lot to say about this fight. For this attempt I went for the achievement where you leave the first set of, I guess, spirits up, elementals, where they're, it's a set of 3. There's 2 sets that spawn throughout the entire fight. If you leave the first set up and you kill it with the second set, all 6 of them within 10 seconds, you'll get an achievement. This takes quite a bit of coordination, as you want to make sure you don't have any AoEs and you don't use anything to cause them to get attracted to you. So you have to basically manage your threat and the health of all 3 of them, and eventually 6, without overdoing it on any one of them.
Just speak out if you don't believe.
You also see that I do pull a trash group, but it is still doable.
Just stand down if you won't retreat. Not holding a prison, so you can leave. But if it's a love, then I'll make sure you won't need to search again. And if it's good, then I'll conquer all the doubt that raged within. And if it's love, well, I'll let you break right in. If it's love, 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 love. Tell me the more. 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 Just slip away. Tell me the secrets you hide. If it's love, tell me just slip away. Tell me promise to pick up the broken glass when it's my heart that you run up against. And would you
Heading over to Memoron, this fight has 4 phases in total. The first one, of which you will want to stay out of melee range from him, and avoid the mines he places on the ground, which you shouldn't have too much trouble doing. Other than that, just stay out of the fire.
to search again? And if it's good, then I'll conquer all the doubt that raged within. And if it's love, well, I'll let you break right in. If it's love, if it's
Every once in a while he'll start up a barrage of lasers, which I think will one-shot you. I don't know for sure, but I will assume they do. And the rockets will also one-shot you should you choose to stand at them. For phase 3, he's a floating head, and you will need ranged DPS for this, of course. Your pet may be able to hit it, I'm not entirely sure. I do notice my pet goes after it, but I don't know if it actually damages it. The ads don't have all that much health, and just kill them as they come out. The bomb bots you'll want to stay away from and get down in, one hit, I think there. And for the last phase, he combines all 3 parts. And it looks like a complete clusterfuck, but with enough practice, it is very easy. This phase he has the first part, which stay out of melee range, the second part, which you want to make sure you're always behind him in some way. He also has the rockets, which he does, and then there's also the fire, and you'll want to make sure you're also nuking each part down simultaneously, and you want to keep him at a steady rate. And for some reason at this part, the lasers glitched out and did not actually kill me. Next up we have General Vezax. This fight is also Take and Spank, and if you want the achievement, Shadow Dodger, just run circles around him, and he should never hit you. You want to let 6 of the vapors coalesce, which you'll have to actually wait because you do kill the boss faster than they spawn. And once there's 6 of them, they will come together, form a giant ad, and you want to kill the ad and then resume DPSing the boss. Lastly, we have Yogg-Saron. I did this with 2 keepers up, Freya and Thorim, because I did not want to stay up all night banging my head against the wall. And the first achievement I went for was where you get 9 guardians together and burn them all down at the same time. The easiest way to do this is to have your pet sit in the middle on passive and to just run through clouds and misdirect each one as they pop out to it. Once phase 2 starts, you want to make sure your pet is still on passive, so that way should you get gripped by a constrictor tentacle, it can break it out. It can break you out. Other than that, just go over to the corruptor tentacles and burn those down. You don't need to worry about the big ones as they don't really do anything at all. Should you get low on sanity and you have Freya up, just go and run over to one of the beams and fill back up. Once the portal spawn, quickly get over to them. Inside will be these floating skulls which you want to keep your back towards so that way you do not lose any sanity. Everything in there can pretty much be one shot, at least as far as I know. And you should have, I don't know, 20-30 seconds to DPS the brain, depending on how quick you were. You don't need all that much time, as looks like I had 11 seconds left. And once you get back out, you'll want to kill the corruptor tentacles and misdirect any of the guardians that pop out to your pet. Should you go low on sanity, you still have the green beams if you're doing Freya up. And if you have Thorim up, you can also have the guardians be killed. If it's not up, then the guardians will stay alive and potentially cause problems for you. When Yogg-Saron does his gaze, you'll want to keep your back towards him for the couple seconds it's up. If not, you lose 4% of your sanity for each tick.